do these two together, because when we did absolute value with equations, absolute value equations, there was a time that the answer was no solution. And when you do these problems, there's a time when you have an answer of no solution, and then there's a time when you have infinitely many solutions, or I should have written it as negative infinity to positive infinity. Now I want you to stop and think for a moment. One of these, number 6 or number 7, one of them is infinitely many solutions. As you're thinking, I'm going to write something here. When you encounter a problem like this, when your absolute value is alone and the number on the right is negative. Absolute value is alone and the number on the right is negative. You do not have to show any work for this because this actually takes some thinking. When you look at it, you have to think about it. And I told my students last year in class, I don't want you to be a robot and think, okay, or write your two equations and then see what happens. I want you to look at each problem and think first. Think about what it's saying. The absolute value is greater than -4. What kind of numbers do we get from absolute value? Well, normally we get positive numbers. Sometimes we get 0, but normally we get positive numbers. When are positive numbers greater than negative numbers? Always. So if you have greater than -4, you have infinitely many solutions. No matter what you would choose will work. And I'm going to shade with a highlighter. And you may as well. When are positive numbers less than negative numbers? Never. So this one is no solution. No work involved, just looking at the problem and thinking about the possible solutions that could occur. And when you have no solution, you do not graph on your number line. Number 8 isn't quite as easy. We do have to show some work. My absolute value is not alone though, so I want to subtract 8 first. The absolute value of 4x minus 7 is greater than or equal to 9, and my absolute value is alone, and I have an or conjunction. So you take what's inside the absolute value, greater than or equal to the number on the right, or what's inside the absolute value, flip your inequality symbol over, make the number on the right the opposite, and then solve those two. Now I'm going to graph these. I'm going to put 4 on a number line and -1/2 on a number line. This is an or, so I shade in opposite directions. And my interval notation is from negative infinity to positive 1/2 union 4 to infinity. And I used brackets because I had solid circles. Now let's try number 9. We need to get our absolute value alone. Now, this is an or because of this. However, I cannot take the opposite of 0. So I really only have one problem to solve. 3 minus k greater than 0. Subtract 3, negative k greater than negative 3, divide by negative 1, k is less than positive 3. Cannot do 2 because I can't put or. 3 minus k is less than negative 0 because there's no such thing. We get this same answer. So my interval notation for number 9 is from negative infinity to positive 3 with the parenthesis. Final example for today, number 10. It says, at a certain company, the average starting salary, S for a new worker, is $25,000. The actual salary has an absolute deviation of at most $1,800. Write and solve an inequality to find the range of the salaries, starting salaries. Absolute deviation. What in the world does that mean? The average salary, so I'm just drawing a number line, it's not really an accurate one. The average salary is $25,000. Deviation means how far away from the average you are. So you have people that make $1,800 less than that, or more than that, I should say. So $25,000 is my average salary. You have people who make $1,800 more than that salary or $1,800 less than that salary. So $1,800 more than $25,000 would be $26,800. $1,800 less than that salary would be $23,200. Now it says, write and solve an inequality to find the range of the starting salaries. This is the range. I have that answer already. The range of the salaries is from $23,200 to $26,800. We're talking about absolute value inequalities. So that means I need to write an absolute value equation. I know this is an and problem because the range is from this value to this value. So I know this is an and problem, that's why I put less than or equal to. I will put x in here. You may use whatever variable you would like. Remember, inside with x goes your middle or your average. What is my average? 25,000. Remember back in that previous lesson, we talked about having to put the opposite of that number. And then the number that goes here is your distance from your middle. Your two answers, my two answers here, what are their distance or distances from the middle? And that would be $1,800. This is my equation, and these are the range of values that was asking for. Hope you have a great day.